What's going on, world? Joshua here, and welcome to another video. This one is Changemakers Tour recap, stop number 2. Well, that's 4, but stop number 2, Vancouver, Canada. For those of you that might not know who I am or what the Changemakers Tour is, my name is Joshua Entis. Welcome to my channel, first and foremost. Thank you for being here and watching this video. The Changemakers Tour is my 52-city activism tour around the world with the hopes of bringing together as many change makers, as many activists, you, the people who are out there actively engaging in creating the change they wish to see in this world for the animals. So I'm going to cities, 52 of them, to do as many skill-based workshops and activism events as possible to bring together the community and strengthen this movement. So I'll be making these videos here as a way to have like a little diary, a journal, a place for me to vent or share my experiences with you and bring you along on this journey. Last week I was in Calgary, Canada for stop number 1, and stop number 2 was Vancouver, Canada. I had a blast. I'd only been to Vancouver once before for 2 days just to go grab some food, so I was really excited not only to do some activism with the community there since it is growing so fast, but I wanted to eat at some of the really good restaurants that were there. So I left Calgary, Canada, which was an epic week. Click up here or somewhere up here to watch the recap video from that stop. But I got to Canada, or I got to Vancouver a couple days before the event started because I'm really trying to focus on taking more time for self-care and self-love so I could avoid activist burnout and be able to sustain my activism long term. So I got into Vancouver on a Wednesday, sort of snuck in there, didn't really tell anyone I was going so they wouldn't want to plan more activism because I have a hard time saying no. I got a little Airbnb, I treated myself, king-size bed, kitchen, went to the grocery store, shopped for some food, cooked for myself, watched a ton of Netflix, and just chilled out to process the week before. And what this did is it gave me time to rest, uninterrupted rest. I went to some of the local restaurants. Well, I went to one restaurant, Meat in Gastown, 3 nights in a row. Delicious. If you go to Vancouver, you should try it. I'm sure you already have if you live there, but yes, that's beside the point. So I took this rest for myself. I got recharged. I felt like my cup was full and I was at 100% battery going into Friday, which was the start of the event. So Friday evening, went down to the school in the middle of the city, UBC, something, University of British Columbia, the satellite campus in the city, to have the next level activism workshop. This is the talk that I give that incorporates my insight and perspective from the activism communities around the world, and I also talk about my 5 strategies for effective vegan outreach. This was such an incredible workshop. 60 people came together in the community. Really nice venue. It was beautiful. I even got one of those little metal pitchers of water with a napkin. Someone brought that to me, so I got to have like a glass cup. I don't know, that was cool to me. I've always seen like stand-up comedians with those pitchers, so I was like, yes, I made it. But great workshop. It was one of those talks when, I don't know if you've ever done public speaking or given a talk to people, but I was up there and in my head I was like, dude, you're crushing it. You're saying everything you want to say. People are laughing, which is always a good thing from time to time. And it just went really well. The Q&A was epic, had some very philosophical questions and some really nice questions that talked about some areas of veganism that I'm always trying to educate myself a little bit more on. So the Q&A was nice. Got to hang out, went out for some pizza at Virtuous Pie afterwards, another place that you should check out. But I went against my whole don't eat past 9 o'clock p.m. because then I can't sleep, and that night I had a hard time sleeping, body trying to process all of that yummy vegan delicious pizza. But once again, that's another tangent. So just try not to eat past 9 o'clock. I believe you sleep better. Saturday morning was the start of an extremely long but powerful day for activism. Got picked up. Friend Zoe, much love if you're watching this. We went to bear witness at a slaughterhouse in the city with the Vancouver Chicken Save. This was a very unique experience because they actually don't allow the activists to bear witness near where they were transporting the chickens anymore. They purchased the alley there, and there's 2 gates, but what this did is allowed for some really creative photos, which I love. So I got to take some photos of slaughterhouse workers walking across this alley, forklifts driving chickens from one side to the killing factory. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a beautiful thing, but from a photo standpoint or a video standpoint, I was able to capture some really powerful images that I know will be shared around when I write some stories about it. And we had a bunch of dedicated activists out there shining a light on this industry, showing the public that this is in their backyard, that this killing factory exists in Vancouver, and that we need to put an end to this. So it was nice to see everyone holding signs and raising awareness. After that, we went to Eternal Abundance, which was a lovely restaurant to finally get a little bit more healthy food. I think 80% of the menu's raw, so that was really nice. After Eternal Abundance, we dropped off some stuff, and then went to the city, even more city proper, to do an Anti-Fur March / disruption. So we went into a bunch of stores, into the mall with signs. I think we had like 60 to 80 activists there, and we marched through these places. We stopped at a Canada Goose store, and once again, we shined a light on this horrific industry. So it's just another form of activism that it was really good to be a part of. Took some great photos there too. After that, we went out for a quick snack, some food, because then we had a 4-hour Cube of Truth once again in the city. And this was incredible. So many activists came out. We had a big cube to start, big screen TVs for the Vancouver chapter of AV, and we had a circle of bystanders like the entire time watching the footage, having great conversations with the outreachers. So many of the conversations that I had that night, people were so open, they had their hearts open, their minds open, and really left taking veganism seriously. So that was a powerful cube to be a part of. I do like nighttime cubes, minus the fact that I can't take photos. My camera doesn't do well with nighttime photography, but the screens are just lit up, and it's just a nice bit of street performance for tourists or the public to be walking by, and they really take notice when everything's lit up. After that cube, we went out for another meal, this time at Meat in Yaletown, same restaurant I went to in the beginning in Gastown, just another location, and we stayed there until like 1:30 in the morning, having great discussions about the Liberation Pledge. I love when activists are interested in the Liberation Pledge. This right here, I'll put the video up here because I could talk about it forever, so watch that if you're interested in the Liberation Pledge. But it was great dialogue, back and forth, ate some good food, was out really late, so I was exhausted. Finally, went back to the house I was staying at. Chris, if you're watching this, thank you for letting me stay at your place. And went to sleep, and then the next day I just did nothing. I slept in until like 11 o'clock a.m., which is something I never do, but my body obviously needed it. And I didn't have to do anything until later on that evening, since it was Sunday. It was our last event of the week. No, we had one more event, which I'll get to. I'm getting too fast here. Thanks for bearing with me. So then Sunday night was my sustainable activism talk, where I talk about my experience of activism burnout, what I learned from it, and tips and tricks on how to sustain our activism long term. Great little turnout for this workshop. Back to Eternal Abundance, the restaurant. Thank you for allowing us to have that workshop there. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, sweet. And yeah, I love this talk because it's so beautiful to be closer and connected with the people who are in this workshop. We were doing it around the dinner table, and I love being, like I said, I love connecting with individuals at this one because it's a really powerful talk that I focus a lot on self-care and self-love, and I want to share my experience and my knowledge and my insight into helping activists not ever experience what I did, which I talk about my unsustainability as an activist when I hit burnout and when I was out for 16 days. So you'll have to wait to hear that when I come to a city near you. Then went home, got a nice early night's sleep. Monday, rest day. Did nothing but catch up on work on the computer. I didn't even leave the house. It was raining all day. This was unbelievable. And yes, Monday, rest day. Tuesday, another rest day throughout the day. But I was excited because I was asked to be on the panel discussion for Plant-Based News Vancouver screening of Vegan 2018. There was a UK screening and a North America screening, so it was an honor to be a part of this screening here in Vancouver. The panel was made up of 6 other activists within the community, all doing their part in a different way, which was great to have all of this different perspective and insight. So we had 2 screenings of that, and then we had 2 discussion panels, and it was nice to see how much progress is being made in the vegan movement, but something that it sort of helped reinforce in my mind is that I want us to never have this sort of complacency or this level of satisfaction that all of these wins are enough. We still need to be out there kicking our butt into gear, lighting that fire within, and getting active. It's amazing to celebrate these wins and celebrate when more celebrities go vegan and to celebrate when we have new vegan products, but we got to keep fighting. Until we win, we got to fight harder and harder and harder. So for anyone who watched 2018 who has this really good feeling inside of them that we're winning, it's great to have that, but I also want us to gain that perspective, which I'll be making a video that talks a little bit more about this in detail because it's something that I really want to talk about. But always remember that we have to fight harder and harder every single day, and it is our moral obligation to not only be vegan, but to be active. So to anyone out there who hasn't done activism yet, the time is now. Let me know if you have any questions about getting active. That was Tuesday night. Said bye to everyone. Had one more really good meal actually before that screening at Chickpea, an all-vegan Israeli restaurant. Probably my favorite restaurant that I went to in Vancouver. So that was backtracking a little. Now we're moving forward to Wednesday. Wake up. I was trying to be a little bit more environmentally friendly and not fly if I don't have to, so I rented a car. But this was a fun experience. About 20 minutes into driving close to the border of the US, I got my first ever speeding ticket. I won't go into too much detail about that one. That was a bummer. Then 20 minutes later, a semi-truck went in front of me and a rock came up and cracked a little part of the windshield on my rental car. That was a bummer. Then I sat in traffic all the way to Seattle. That was a bummer, but hey, I got to Seattle and started the week off right with a workshop that Wednesday night. So you're gonna have to wait to hear the recap video from Seattle, which I'll put out in the next few days. So that's this video. Thank you for listening to me talk. I hope it provided some sort of value to you for listening in on what I experienced on the second stop on the Changemakers tour. Much love to you all. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you subscribing to my YouTube channel, following me on Instagram for the day-to-day stuff. Like I said, if you ever have questions, send them to me on Facebook, Instagram, put them in the comments below. If you like these videos and you want to keep seeing them every single week, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you do want to support my tour financially, I have a Patreon where people can pledge a monthly amount to help support the Changemakers tour. That's in the description below. But once again, thank you for just being here. Thank you for being you, and thank you for watching this video. For now, I'm in Seattle, so much love. Peace.